Japanese tourism has been rapidly developing in recent years, driven by various factors. Japan's natural landscapes, from the snow-capped Mount Fuji to ancient forests and crystal-clear lakes, captivate visitors. Japan boasts unique cultural heritage, including ancient temples, colorful festivals, and refined tea ceremonies. Japan's modern architecture includes bustling shopping centers, grand entertainment venues, and a vast subway network that creates a balance of tradition and modernity. The kindness and grace of the Japanese people, especially women, are a significant attraction for tourists. Many international couples, especially with Japanese women, symbolize a new model of family happiness, inspiring younger generations. In spring 2018, a horrific crime shook Japan, leading to concerns about the safety of new relationships. The discovery of a human head in a suitcase sent shockwaves through the country. Saki Kondo was a 27-year-old woman from Himeji, Hyogo Prefecture, living with her mother, brother, and grandfather. While her father frequently traveled for work abroad, Saki's family often traveled to Thailand to visit her father, enjoying these rare moments of family reunions and exploring new destinations together. Through these family trips, Saki discovered her passion for travel and dreamed of visiting countries in the West to expand her horizons. To achieve her dreams of traveling the world, Saki focused on mastering English, the global language, and worked diligently throughout her schooling. After graduating, Saki became an interpreter at a factory in Sanda, where she quickly established herself due to her proficiency in English and professional work ethic. Despite living away from home, Saki maintained a close bond with her mother, calling her every day. To check in, Saki was always cheerful and open with everyone at work, known for her friendly personality and willingness to help others whenever possible. Saki's fluency in English allowed her to interact with foreigners both at work and in everyday life, gaining affection from those around her through her friendly and polite demeanor. Saki's life, from work to personal relationships, flowed smoothly. Earning the admiration of those around her, Saki harbored a strong desire to travel the world, believing that each trip would broaden her horizons and allow her to experience new cultures. To achieve her travel dreams, Saki decided to join the international dating app Tinder, hoping to meet someone who shared her love for exploration. On February 17, 2018, Saki's mother reported to the police that she had been unable to contact her daughter for 2 days, which prompted the police to launch a search. Saki's absence from work for 2 consecutive days raised concern among her colleagues, who knew her as someone punctual and responsible. The police quickly launched an investigation after receiving reports from both her mother and her employer, as Saki's disappearance was unusual. Saki had told a close colleague that on the afternoon of February 15, 2018, she was meeting a man named Jack, someone she had connected with on Tinder. Noticing this could be a significant clue, the police quickly checked the CCTV footage from areas Saki may have passed through. Through the footage, police discovered that Saki appeared at the train station that afternoon, boarding a train right after her shift and heading to Marino Station in Osaka. Late at night on the same day, Saki was also captured by another camera as she got off the train at Moreno Station. At that time, she was greeted by a man initially identified as Jack, someone she had met online. The two talked for a while at the station, displaying affectionate gestures like a couple. Checking further CCTV footage, the police discovered that Saki and the man entered a nearby hotel. However, what was concerning was that after Saki appeared on the hotel's CCTV, there were no further images of her recorded. The police found no trace of Saki afterward, making her disappearance suspicious. Each time he was seen exiting the hotel, the man was alone, and he consistently covered his head with a hat and wore a white mask, making it impossible for the police to identify him. The police also observed that Jack wore black pants and shoes, and every time he returned, he carried something small but noticeable. The hotel was operating illegally with no official registration or documentation, meaning they did not require guests to provide identification. Therefore, the true identity of the man known as Jack remained unknown. The police continued searching through CCTV footage across the city and eventually spotted the man, believed to be Jack, in various locations. However, Saki seemed to have mysteriously disappeared. The footage recorded no further trace of her after she last appeared entering the hotel with Jack. On February 22, 2018, a week after Saki Kondo's disappearance, the police finally apprehended the suspect at a hotel in Nara. The man was Yevgeny Vasilyevich Bayraktar, an American tourist. Preliminary investigation provided enough evidence to confirm that Bayraktar was the mysterious man who met Saki. Before her disappearance, Bayraktar was born in Odessa, Ukraine. His mother was Ukrainian and his father, a Bulgarian doctor. When Bayraktar was a child, his parents divorced. His mother then met an American engineer named Benny through social media. Benny flew to Ukraine, bringing Regina and Bayraktar to Texas, USA. Regina remarried Benny when Bayraktar was only 9 years old. Although Benny treated Bayraktar like his own son, Bayraktar had no intention of forming a close relationship with his stepfather. From a young age, Bayraktar was very attached to his mother and had little contact with outsiders. Therefore, as he grew older, he became a reclusive young man with no friends, spending most of his time at home with his mother. Benny recalled that if there was a dish Bayraktar didn't like during dinner, his mother would immediately stop eating and cook something else, even though the family was not well off. The relationship between Bayraktar and his mother was extremely close, making it difficult for Benny to form a bond with his stepson. After remarrying, Regina became a U.S. citizen and continued her studies with the goal of becoming a licensed nurse in the United States. After much effort, she achieved her goal. Seeing his wife happy with her new career, Benny also felt content. However, one day, Regina and her son, Bayraktar, suddenly disappeared. Benny tried to search everywhere, but in vain. It wasn't until he received a letter from Regina that, instead of the loving words he had hoped for, the letter contained a divorce request. Regina admitted that she had never truly loved Benny, but only used him to obtain U.S. citizenship. After becoming a citizen, she left Benny and took her son to Long Island, New York, where she quickly found a job as a nurse. In Long Island, Regina started a new relationship and was preparing to marry. However, as she was preparing for the wedding, she realized that she was still legally married to Benny, so she sent a letter requesting a divorce to resolve the issue. After reading the letter, Benny felt angry at being used, but also relieved to finally see Regina's true colors. He was ready to sign the divorce papers to end all ties with this woman. Regina later successfully divorced and married her new boyfriend, starting a new life. At the end of January 2018, Bayraktar received a long-term tourist visa, allowing him to stay in Japan for 90 days. As soon as he got the visa, he quickly prepared and set off for the country. Regarding the case involving the disappearance of Saki Kondo, based on the information gathered, the police suspected that Bayraktar might have intentionally approached her due to his obsession with Japanese women. On February 22nd, police questioned Bayraktar, but he denied all accusations, claiming he didn't know where Saki was and refusing to provide more information. Saki's disappearance was strange, as she couldn't have left the hotel without being captured by security cameras. The police continued to search for clues through previous CCTV footage at the hotel where she had entered with the suspect. Despite a thorough search, they found no belongings of Saki or any suspicious traces. However, the police began to notice some unusual behavior from Bayraktar. In the recorded footage, Bayraktar repeatedly entered and exited the hotel, carrying suspicious items. Notably, he left the hotel with a large travel bag. The police suspected that something bad might have happened to Saki. They then requested search warrants for every hotel Bayraktar had visited, but found no clues. Another strange point was that Bayraktar often chose to stay at unlicensed hotels. This raised more suspicion, as foreign tourists typically choose luxury hotels, or, at the very least, legal budget hotels. The investigation continued until the police arrived at a hotel about a 6-minute walk from the train station, a place similar to the previous hotels Bayraktar had chosen. This hotel was quite cheap, costing around 20-30 yen, just over 14 USD per night, with the clientele mainly being laborers. When questioned, the hotel owner said that a few days ago a foreign man had rented a room and brought a large suitcase. The foreign man's appearance surprised the owner, as no foreigners had ever rented a room there before. After the foreign guest left, the room he stayed in had a very bad smell. The closer the owner got to the room, the stronger the smell became, scaring them away from opening the door to clean it. Upon receiving the information, the police quickly arrived at the room where Bayraktar had stayed. The room was small, only about 6'5" square meters, enough for one person. When they opened the door, the air conditioning was still on, chilling cold, and a strong odor of deodorizing chemicals filled the room. Despite that, a strange stench could not be eliminated. In the empty room, there was only a suitcase left in the middle of the floor. A policeman approached and slowly unzipped the suitcase. As soon as the suitcase was opened, the police could not believe what they saw. Inside the suitcase was the body of Saki Kondo, the girl who had been missing for 10 days. With irrefutable evidence, the police interrogated Bayraktar again. This time, he had no excuses and admitted his crime. However, Bayraktar repeatedly insisted it was an accident, not intentional. He kept apologizing and did not provide any more details about what happened that fateful night. To charge Bayraktar, the police needed to examine his phone. Despite him deleting all social media accounts and Tinder, the police were able to recover disturbing data. Aside from his normal life, Bayraktar led a double life with a perverse nature. He used Tinder to befriend and lure Japanese women. As of his arrest, excluding Saki Kondo, Bayraktar had met with over 10 other women. Bayraktar didn't just want to chat, but desired much more, especially sex. On February 12, 2018, Bayraktar chose a small inn in Osaka. He used Tinder as usual and matched with a girl who appeared innocent. That girl was Saki Kondo. Thanks to Saki knowing English, the two could easily communicate and found common ground. After repeatedly declining to meet due to work, Saki finally agreed to go to Osaka to meet Bayraktar. They met at Morinomiya Station after work on Thursday, February 15, 2018. Saki was surprised when she met Bayraktar in person because he was very different from his Tinder profile picture. However, he behaved kindly and charmingly, lowering her guard. They had a pleasant conversation and returned to the inn together. Saki didn't intend to stay long as she had to work the next morning. However, that night, she was unable to return. During the investigation, the police discovered that Bayraktar had dated many other Japanese women at the same inn before meeting Saki, but they had all safely returned. Only Saki was his victim. After days of interrogation, Bayraktar confessed that he had used a saw to dismember Saki's body, but remained silent about what happened that night. The Osaka police expanded their search around the inn where Saki Kondo was last seen. In remote, rarely frequented areas, they found signs of unusual digging. The police immediately conducted a thorough investigation and found Saki's arms. They didn't stop there, soon discovering her torso in another nearby location. On the same day, another search team in Kyoto found her legs buried in a hidden area. The discovery left Saki Kondo's family in utter shock, unable to believe that a kind, gentle girl had met such a tragic end. The autopsy revealed that the cause of Saki's death was suffocation. Nevertheless, Bayraktar continuously refused to disclose details of what had happened on that fateful night. He kept repeating that Saki's death was an accidental mishap and that he had no intention of killing her. The police continued their investigation, but Bayraktar did not offer any specific explanation for his cruel and terrifying actions. According to police speculation, on the day of the incident, it is likely that Bayraktar became angry when Saki Kondo wanted to leave earlier than he had planned. Perhaps he expected more from Saki, but was rejected, causing him to become enraged during a struggle. He accidentally suffocated her, leading to her death. After realizing that the girl had stopped breathing, he was in extreme panic. However, shortly afterward, he regained composure and began taking actions to conceal his crime. He quickly turned off the victim's phone and deleted all social media accounts, including messages between him and Saki, as well as other related information. Not only that, he searched for keywords related to body concealment. On February 16, 2018, the day after the incident, he left the inn with a large bag which contained a saw and various deodorizing chemicals, just as he had researched online. Bayraktar later found and rented an illegal inn, mainly serving laborers, where he secretly dismembered Saki's body. Over the next few days, he frequently traveled between the mountains of Osaka and Kyoto, gradually disposing of the girl's body parts. Although he tried using many deodorizing chemicals in the room to hide his crime, none were effective enough. The police had gathered enough evidence of his crime, but he remained silent and kept repeating his apologies. One thing that made the police suspicious was that 10 days had passed between the murder and when they found the suitcase. During this time, he could have fled Japan and returned to his country, but he did not. This raised the question of why he decided to stay in Japan. Could it be that he was still consumed by a guilty desire for women? The motives and actions of this cruel individual remain unclear, as he has disclosed nothing. During the trial in 2019, a year after the shocking case, the police could not prove that the defendant intentionally killed Saki, as there were no cameras in the room and no witnesses, except for the defendant and the victim. The Japanese prosecutor charged the defendant with 2 crimes, manslaughter and body concealment. In court, the defendant appeared uneasy, claiming that it was an accident, that he did not intend to harm Saki, and apologized to her family. However, his words were doubted because after Saki's death, instead of turning himself in, he erased the evidence and dismembered her body. The Japanese public was outraged, demanding that Bayraktar receive the harshest sentence. However, in January 2019, the defendant was only sentenced to 8 years in prison, causing a social outcry and leaving the victim's family devastated, believing that the sentence was far too lenient for such cruel actions. The case not only shocked the public with the brutality of the perpetrator, but also raised concerns about the safety of online relationships, particularly on dating apps. It prompted questions about protecting women in modern society. Through this case, it serves as a warning to everyone to be cautious in online relationships, especially with strangers they have never met in person.